Coming up on ECG, Superman Powered Up.
Reader Repulsa is free after 10,000 years.
Bethesda plans to make a splash at E3 again this year.
Marvel's mobile game.
Too many M's. All this and more coming up on the East Coast Geek Podcast. Welcome to episode 55 of the East Coast Geek Podcast for Friday, February 5th, 2016, where we bring you all the latest news on comics, movies, and gaming. I'm your host, Jeremy, and with me as always is Opu. How you doing, buddy?
Pretty good. What you been up to this week?
Nothing. Absolutely nothing. I've been playing a little bit of Rainbow Six in the absence of my Division beta, which happened this past weekend, which was, it was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it.
Well, while you were off goofing off, I decided, you know what we need to do? We need to start trademarking stuff. So I started looking into trademarking the word podcast, the trademarking having our videos up with a picture in the background. Going to make total bank. Except, wait, no, I didn't do that because I'm not a jerk. But did you see who was trying to trademark stuff this week?
Yeah, hey, wait a second. I got a picture of these guys. Yeah, look at those guys.
Aren't they adorable?
And they're on fire.
So if you haven't heard about this, then you've probably been living under a rock. But the Fine Brothers, they're known for those React videos where they put kids playing Mega Man or old people playing Five Nights at Freddy's or Grand Theft Auto or something. They just record their experience and then ask them questions afterwards.
They also do those videos with the kids from foreign countries trying our foods and stuff, right?
Yeah. They also branched in that. I haven't watched that one yet, but so they decided they were going to try to copyright the whole React thing. The funny thing is that there have been reaction videos longer than they've been around,
Yeah.
The most well-known probably is the Two Girls, One Cup one from years ago. And if you do not remember that, then you are too young to know about it. Do not look that up, and I probably just caused us to get in trouble. Anyway, and the thing is, remember when YouTube even put in those react and rebuttal sections? Like somebody would post a video, and you could post your reaction to it, or you rebutting them?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was like the second or third year YouTube was around. So yeah,
I don't know. I didn't see. Yeah, I think you've got it in there, but I kind of read into the article, and they were talking about how they were trying to help organize and brand these videos as such to help protect the people that are making them. And listen, it's total garbage. They're gonna want their cut. They're gonna get their cut, or they're gonna get it all, and the people that do them are not gonna get anything if they monetize their stuff. That would put what's his face? Markiplier couldn't do freaking reaction videos to video games without having to give them money. That's what that means.
Well, not only thing, but how far will this React thing go? I mean, they could say technically our format is we're reacting to the news of the week, not one specific thing. We don't have video up,
right?
But they could say, hey, well, that's kind of a form of it, because copyright laws are a little gray in some areas. And here's the thing: what about the people? They use Nintendo property, they use Sony, they use Microsoft, third-party companies. They use all of their products and videos, games. They're exploiting that. Yeah. I mean, so that means they don't get their cut, but these jerks do.
Yeah.
How is that fair? And not only that, but they even went out and attacked Ellen. Did you see that?
No.
Yeah. They went out and Ellen posted some kind of video for a show where kids were reacting to new toys or old toys from when we were kids.
Right.
And they tried to get their fan base to attack her.
Why? Because they wanted to protect their hopeful copyright?
Yeah.
Or trademark, whichever. Yeah, copyright.
Yeah, so they're feeling the brunt. Last I checked, they had dropped almost 1 million subscribers.
At least.
From their main channel, and then their React channel lost probably about 1 million as well, or close to it. And
Yeah,
So,
that's
and
I
the
don't
thing is,
know.
they didn't really came out and apologize to really backtrack. They're like, "We're sorry that you guys realized we were being cons." So,
Yeah, yeah, it's just it was bad form, and you gotta hurt them where it hit them where it hurts in that pocket where they're getting all the money from monetization of their videos.
exactly, it shows just the power that you know fans and the consumers actually have. That you know, not to get political or anything, but yeah, the consumer base is the one that has all the power. You tell them you don't want them, and that you don't want them to do it, and they're going to have to listen.
Yeah, and this isn't the first time we've seen this too, because Sony tried to copyright Let's Play, and that's like
Mm-hmm.
the most famous gaming video series on YouTube. Without it being a concurrent series, just everybody does a Let's Play. I mean, I kind of do that. I just don't title them that way, but basically that's all I'm doing.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Look at how many, like you said, Markiplier. There's PewDiePie. There's the Game Grumps.
Yeah,
Pro
exactly.
Jared. He does more of an analytical one, which I like. You kind of do it. I was going to get into it, then I realized my voice is horrible, so nobody's going to want to listen to that for 10 minutes at a time.
Come on now, you got a face for radio.
I do have a. So, hey, anyways, not to be outdone. Remember, EA apparently tried to trademark the word ghost.
They're currently under the process of doing that. Apparently, what it is it's a developmental studio
It's a
entitled
develop,
Ghost Games. Yeah,
yeah, called Ghost Games, and Ubisoft is kind of fighting them. So who do you root for there? You know, because Ubisoft makes Ghost Recon,
yeah,
and I don't know what EA's thinking. Like people are going to mix up who makes Ghost Recon. It seems it just seems like an underhanded tactic. And then if they trademark the word ghost, what does that mean? Does that mean that booze can't be considered ghosts anymore? Does that mean the Ghostbusters? You know,
you know
pretty much every horror game.
back when the Nintendo 64 was a thing, Blizzard was trying to make a game called StarCraft Ghost. It was about the sniper unit for the Terrans.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean,
Which that game should. Oh, that game should have totally came out.
yeah,
Man, that would have been awesome.
missed
But
opportunities. Yeah, it's interesting that this is a kind of thing. I mean, it's as silly as Let's Play. Honestly, it's the
yeah,
word ghost. So
so I don't know, guys. Quit trying to copyright everything.
yeah,
You make it, and you get your credit. Whatever. So I mean, I guess I could understand both sides, but it's still like something as vague as Let's Plays or Ghost or React. How those are such vague terms that means that they can grab onto everything. It's
right,
just unfair to the people at large and creativity. It stifles creativity. I don't think it's fair.
right. Yeah, and yeah, like you said, it stops that creativity and makes you have to think about what you're doing and how it's going to affect things instead of just creating content and putting it out there. So
Yeah, you know what should affect is I don't know. It's a whole bunch of stuff, but I don't I don't like I don't like copyrights in general. Really, I
all right,
guess I don't know. I
and
don't
then,
like these guys. All these guys,
obviously.
everyone we named, I hate them all.
And then we've got one quick note from what we mentioned, I think, last week in the news,
Yeah, we were
right?
talking about Total Biscuit, the cynical Brit. He's I may have misspoke or something. He's technically retiring from social media, responding on Twitter, Facebook, that kind of stuff. But he's still doing his best to make videos.
Right. And I think he actually just did one on the Division, didn't he?
Yes, he
So
just did one on the Division.
I haven't checked it out yet, but I've been going through so much for getting the other show together. So, which we actually did our first show last 2 days ago. So.
Yeah, I did jump on there live, I think. But
Oh,
then
okay.
to watch
Well,
some
next
of
time,
it,
next time
but
say hi.
I think I kind of passed out while doing it. Well,
Oh,
I
great.
put it on the Xbox,
Oh, okay.
Xbox.
All right.
So I wish they had an easier way. You got to Xbox, Microsoft, YouTube, whatever. Give us a way to make comments on these videos because I get pissed off watching some of these videos, and by the time I pull it up on my laptop, I've already burned out of the anger. So I don't want to comment anymore.
Gotcha. All right. Well, let's go ahead and get into the first piece of comic news we've got, and it appears that Superman's getting a new power. again.
Yes, again. So you remember we talked about months and months ago last year that he got a super flare attack, basically a super version of his heat vision,
Right.
which burned out his powers for 24 hours. It basically drained his solar reserves. In between that, they've done a lot of crazy stuff with him. So while he was recharging, he started just losing his powers in general, and it was unclear whether the two were related. He wasn't as strong as he used to be, and he couldn't fly anymore. Then this new enemy, I'm not going to pronounce his name. It's like Hodor underscore blah blah blah. It's basically an internet tag name or whatever.
Great.
He found out Superman's secret identity, blackmailed him. It's been a bad year for Superman. Lois Lane ends up just telling everybody his secret identity, so he couldn't force Superman into being basically his battery to give him superpowers.
Great.
Yeah, so because revealing secret identities is always the best for long-term stories. Isn't that right, Marvel? Telling everybody Spider-Man's secret identity,
Again.
making deals with the devil.
Yeah, well, don't forget, DC's just as guilty, especially with that last movie. Everybody knew who Superman was by the end of that first movie.
Yeah, because why would you have your characters screaming out their names like that? Why?
Yeah.
Especially with all those government officials there who's not going to show any loyalty to him, even if he's a superpowered alien god. So anyway, so in this week's Action Comic 49, the Man of Steel is back in action, having thrown himself into a giant pile of kryptonite in the hopes of jump-starting his superpowers, which have greatly diminished and have been acting up since he used the solar flare at the beginning of the True storyline. So the stuff that's supposed to kill him is now going to give him his powers. They've got an explanation for this, kind of. A layer of cells in his body has mutated and is no longer able to absorb the energy of Earth's yellow sun. And, you know, since this is the source of powers, he came up with a theory that could solve his power problems. By exposing himself to deadly kryptonite, the mutated cells would be wiped away and give him the ability to power up once again. But, yeah, so it was basically like a chemotherapy in a way.
Great.
Except he didn't lose his hair. But,
No, he still
actually,
has
that would have
awesome
been a
hair.
cool look for him.
He still has awesome hair,
Yeah,
unfortunately.
he still got his little curl and everything.
And I see in this panel that I pulled, he's still rocking the jeans and t-shirts.
Yeah, which I kind of like that look in a way.
Yeah, it's all right.
Yeah, especially for a lower powered Superman, I guess. But but there was a bit of a hiccup when Superman came back up to speed. He's feeling a little differently. The Krypton has built up in his cells, giving him green eyes rather than his standard blue, and a new power has emerged. Basically, it looks like he's becoming a version of a character called Ultraman, who gets his power. He's like an alternate universe evil Superman who constantly needs kryptonite like a drug. Like he snorts kryptonite in order to
Great.
use powers. Yeah. This power is a variation of his superhearing. Much in the same way his super flare was a variation of his heat vision. In the past, he's always been able to see radio waves and different signal frequencies, but he wasn't able to hear what was on them. Mostly, like anything else, this whole thing could change, but that's what his power is. Now he's basically a radio now, in a way. Or an antenna. I don't know how well these writers understand signal flow and all that kind of stuff.
Maybe he's just a retrans site.
Yeah, but then again, it's also about a guy that gets powered by the sun and he can move planets. So, who am I to really tell them? Which hard science they got to follow. So, at any rate, Superman can now receive and interpret signals, hearing what's being broadcast. It's a power he's had before during his electric power phase. I wish I had told you to pull up the red versus blue or the red and blue Superman from the 90s. But it's the first time it's been added to a standard arsenal. Oops, I almost dropped my controller. The red versus blue, like Superman became like too overpowered, or so, I can't remember the exact plot line, and he ended up splitting into two versions of himself in the 90s: a solid blue one and a solid red one, with like little changes to their costume. It was not a very good storyline, and he had like a lot of electrical based powers or something. It was a bad storyline, people, and I don't know. I don't know how this is going to do, but it doesn't matter because check out our next story. There's DC Rebirth rumors, so they might be retconning all this stuff again.
Yeah, I was gonna say it, and it looks like we're not really sure what level it's gonna be as far as whether it'll be the hard new 52 style continuity reboot,
Yeah,
which should be interesting.
which I guess I should have had you play
What?
our rumor alert. Gosh, I should. I need to make a note of that from now on. But yeah, so it's not. We don't know if it's a hard reboot yet. But here are some of the rumored changes coming to the DC universe this summer. Weirdly enough, coinciding with the release of their movies. Yeah, possibly following issues number 52 of the title, still standing from the original New 52 launch, are every relaunch book in the Rebirth might be a Rebirth issue in June ahead of the new number one, like basically an issue zero.
So
Is
yeah, I
what
was
they
gonna
usually
say it
call
was like
them.
an in between.
Yeah, kind of. It's rumored that bi-weekly books, possibly including Batman, will actually release their new number one in June following the Rebirth issue.
Bi-weekly, huh? Aren't they usually
Yeah,
a monthly?
they have monthly, they have like bi-monthly, have bi-weekly, they have weekly comics.
So
They
does it
have
depend on the title or the
it depends on the
line?
title, the publisher, the writer. Kevin Smith would really like he would have a monthly book sometimes, but then there's this little thing called a schedule slip
Hmm.
where it might start off weekly, then they be like, and then they keep pushing it out fast enough, so they'll be like, okay, well we're going to move it to a monthly book.
Right.
And then it's going to be okay, well it's going to come out every 3 months, and then like so you'll get like issue four, and there's been times yes that it's been like years later and issue five comes out.
Ugh.
So so yeah, it's I don't know. I don't know what happens there really. Well, a lot of things, health issues. They get pulled for movies or script writing for other stuff, or they have to work on they get hired to do another comic, within the same company.
Right.
It can happen a lot during like more independent stuff, like in Image Comics in a way.
I got you.
So anyway, so what hasn't been locked down? While it hasn't been locked down, rumors suggest that Tom King, who writes Vision and has written Grayson, will take over writing duties on the biweekly Batman. It's rumored that current Batman writer Scott Snyder will take over Detective Comics, which is said to remain monthly. So let's we got a few here. According to unnamed sources, 7 titles will be canceled before Rebirth. Rumor says that it's Batman Superman, which is usually one of the bigger comics. I don't understand why that was going. Superman, Wonder Woman, Grayson, Starfire, Black Canary, Midnighter, and Doctor Fate. They may all end before Rebirth. Additionally, other sources have claimed that some of those solo heroes will be moved to headline other books like Starfire and Titans, Black Canary and Birds of Prey, and Grayson returning to Nightwing.
Hey, just to break it up a little, how often do they reset titles? Because I mean, this is kind of like what they're talking about with the Secret Wars, where Marvel purged a bunch of comics that weren't coming back in the next set. Not permanently, I'm sure, but they bring them back eventually or pull them in as ancillary on other comics or whatever.
Well, there's a bunch of factors in it. The biggest factor lately has been, are they starring in a movie?
Yeah.
If are they going to be in the Avengers movie or whatever? Then they kind of try to push them to the front more, try to release a comic for them. Now, if it's something like they're just not selling well, if the first issue sells 70,000 and the next one sells 20,000, the next one sells like 25,000, then the next one sells like 10,000, they might just drop the book. Say it's just not selling well.
Right.
And sometimes they'll say, okay, well, we'll let them finish the story arc, and sometimes they'll just no, books canceled.
Yeah, but I mean,
As-
entire lines are being shifted on this. I mean,
Yeah, as for rebooting universes, it's not just a single writer decides that.
right, right.
This is a company wide thing. This comes from the top, so that's like Jim Lee and Dan Dito, I think, are still the top DC guys. They're the ones that launched the New 52. I guess they're the ones that had the Convergence on the line. Before 52, it had probably been since Infinite Crisis, which was like there was a 20-year gap in between it.
Oh, okay.
These Marvel has never had a hard reboot. It's always been like a soft reboot.
Okay.
It's, where as you're talking about, like Spider Man, for example, they might start off. He might have the Amazing Spider Man going on, right?
All right.
They might cancel that book, then it might jump to Sensational Spider-Man. So it'll start back at one, but some of the plot elements will carry over. They might not carry over. It just depends on the writer, what they're going with the book. You know what I'm saying?
I got you.
Yeah. So there's it's weird how complicated it gets between the hard and the softs and which ones are still pulling what canon. And then you get into multiverses and multiverse comics. So yeah, it's insane.
I got you. Yeah, I was just curious, and for those at home that not sure what those split ups are or those reboots. So,
Yeah,
all right. And you
yeah.
were
I mean, we could spend hours analyzing and discussing this, but that's like a really brief overview of it.
right.
So to continue, where did I leave off?
You were
Okay,
at the additionally.
huh?
Were you at additionally, or where is that further? Oh,
No, okay, no, I got you. Yeah, I was at additionally. So Grayson's returning to Nightwing, like we said. With the end of Batman, Superman, and Superman Wonder Woman, it's rumored that a new series starring all three heroes titled Trinity will debut sometime after the initial rebirth. The bi-weekly Trinity will star Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman because they're their big three.
right.
A number of new books are rumored to launch as part of Rebirth, including The Superman, which a lot of people are questioning that title. It feels like a throwback title,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
the old Action Comics 1, which would probably be a cool to analyze like how Superman's progressed through the years some way.
Right.
Then Man of Steel, New Green Lantern, which I already hate that title, and Hal Lantern and the Green Lantern Corps. Peter Tomasi is rumored to be the new Superman writer. The book is mentioned as being bi-monthly as opposed to the bi-weekly Batman, but considering the dual meaning of bi-monthly, it's possible that Superman will be on every other week schedule like Batman. If that makes sense, like they
Yeah.
offset the Batman, then Superman would come out, then
Right.
uh,
Batman would come out on the 1st and the 15th, and Superman would be on the opposite weeks.
yep. A new Justice Society of America book is rumored to arrive as part of the rebirth, starring what's described as a team of young heroes brought forward in time, where they will fight along the JLA. The Justice Society of America are usually considered the Golden Age heroes like lately. Like
Right.
they
Right.
usually have Hour Man, Power Girl, those kind of characters on there.
Gotcha.
They use Wildcats usually one, but they're usually like most of them are made up of the older generation of heroes or their proteges. So Justice Society and they're a smaller group than Justice League. Like technically, the Justice Society is part of Justice League. They're like their own, but they're all their own thing in a way.
Gotcha.
Again, that's a really abridged version, but also, Mr. Terrific's usually on Justice Society. I felt the need to mention that because he's a really good character and highly underutilized. In addition to the new Titans series, it's rumored that there will also be a Teen Titans series, which will feature Damian Wayans as the lead as Robin. Some people are not positive about that because Damian Wayans is more of a loner. So maybe they're going to have some kind of character development happen for him. So we'll see where that one goes.
Is that Batman's kid?
That is Batman's kid with Talia al Ghul,
Okay.
which there's a like. It was funny when they announced him. It immediately broke the canon that New 52 had within 3 or 4 issues, right? Or like,
Wonderful.
I think it might have been 10 at the most. They were trying to hand wave it, be like, "Well, Batman's only been public for 5 years. He's been operating solo and like myth and legend longer than that. So that's why he can have a 10-year-old kid, even though he's only been around for 5 years. And Talia would only know him for that 5 years. So,
Gotcha.
okay. Another rumor states that one of the integral ideas of Rebirth depends on something in the upcoming Batman vs. Superman movie. Because, of course, who didn't see that coming? But that plot point is still a secret to both editors and creators working on a new line. Rebirth is rumored to arrive in June. Like I said, Trinity is going to be an obvious reboot for like Dawn of Justice.
Right.
Uh, the Superman unusual title. These are just some of my notes I put in. I didn't realize that we were going to talk about, but yes, and rebooting. Everybody's tired of rebooting. It's not fun for the reader. It's not fun for the writer. I don't think it would be fun for the writer because basically they have to take all the like character development they might have had with their character, especially if they've been on the book since book one, and they have to start from scratch. Okay, Superman's got to learn about his powers. Batman's got to learn teamwork again. Depending on their jumping off point. And then
We get to see Martha and Thomas Wayne get murdered again.
yeah. How many flashbacks we have to have of that over again? Um,
Yeah, that's why I was asking earlier about how often they do reboots. But yeah, this is what their third in the 7 years. That's crazy.
I don't know if those numbers are exact, but we've had the hard New 52, which has been it happened. It had to happen around 2009.
That sounds about right.
Yeah, then there was Convergence, which was just like last year or so, which was kind of a reboot, but not really a reboot, because they had basically written all the writers had written themselves into corners everywhere. So,
New 52 hit in September of 2011.
oh wow,
So that's not even. Yeah, that's not even. Or we're just
okay,
barely at 5 years almost.
geez, I was being generous. So I don't know. I don't know. They've. This is why, like, the older I've gotten, the more I feel like they need to just end some characters. You can and let a newer generation pick up. Then you can write different stories. And if you still wanted to say, I wanted to write a story about Peter Parker, well, you can always go back and add it as, oh well, this is when he was a teenager. This was when he was in college before he met his demise.
Right, and that's the thing too. It's either fatigue from starting too much. So you either need to start a new character, or just keep running the same character. I mean, they're going to be able to have all these adventures in their lifetime, right?
Yeah, I mean, Superman's been around for 75 years. You've told just about every story you can with him.
Right.
Unless aliens actually do come visit Earth, then maybe you can open up new stuff.
Right.
But I don't know. Maybe I'm just not creative enough anymore, and I'm jaded and cynical. But I don't know. So I don't. But I know personally, I'm tired of reboots. I know a lot of people are tired of reboots. I know some people are tired of this whole. We've got to make the comics more like the movies, which I've talked about time and time again on the show, as opposed to the movies need to be like the comics. The comics are where your fan base really lies.
Right. Right.
They're the ones that have taken care of you all these years. They're the ones that did their best to take care of Marvel when they were going bankrupt and selling all their IPs away.
Yeah.
So,
all right.
That's it for me on that.
I got you. I'll take the next one here. Boom Studios Power Rangers. Studio. Oh, is this Boom Studios has confirmed to Comic Book Resources News that Mighty Morphin Power Rangers number 0 released last month from creators including writers Kyle Higgins, Steve Orlando, and Margaret Scotland.
Scotted? Yeah.
Scotland. Artists Hendry.
Oh, Scott and.
Oh, Scott. Oh, okay.
It looked like a name.
Right. Artists Hendry. Oh my gosh. Presetya.
Close enough.
Corin Howell and Daniel Bayliss has sold 47,000 copies of its first print, leading to a second and third printing on sale February 17th and March 2nd, respectively. That makes it the highest selling single issue in direct market sales in Boom Studios' 10-year history, other than Bravest Warrior Tales from the Hollow John, which was included in Loot Crate release last year. I don't think I got that one.
Yeah, I don't think I've got that one either because I used to have Loot Crate. But here's where the article gets crazy. Did you want to finish or are you want me to take
go
over
for it?
from that?
Take it.
Okay. because it's about to quickly be topped. Because Boom Studios has reported that Mighty Morphin Power Rangers issue 1 has also which is also scheduled for release on March 2nd, which is by Higgins and
What?
Saitia, has reached 75,000 in initial orders.
Almost double on
Yeah,
initial orders. That's not even after the initial sales. That's crazy.
yeah. So that's huge for
People have
a
missed the Power
small.
Rangers, I guess.
Yeah, that's the power of the Power Rangers. People our age are getting really nostalgic about
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
And if the covers alone are any indication, the art is going to be absolutely
Oh
fantastic.
yeah.
I mean, those numbers rival like Marvel and DC numbers. And I'm not talking about like Ant-Man numbers. I'm talking about like Thor and Iron Man numbers and some of the Spider-Man stuff.
Right, right. Yeah,
So
that's
that's.
huge. I'll have to see if I can find a copy of that
By the way, I
number
looked on
zero.
Amazon for issue 0.
Oh God.
I think of first printing. They had some selling for like $180.
Oh God.
So I'm probably gonna have to wait till the second or third printing to get one.
I may have to actually go out to the shop and see if I can put in a request for it, and maybe even the number one. I
You,
can't
you
believe
might
that
even
numbers.
you might be able to find it at one of the shops. I don't know how big comics are in this area. From me, we do have a few comic shops. So
We have a few. I mean, even including the Second and Charles place uh, up in Maryland, but which is technically a larger store anyways. It's more of a bookstore and collectibles thing. So the comics that they have, they do carry some of the
these
newer
days, most
stuff.
comic
So
shops have collectibles. I bought
yeah,
a lot of my D&D stuff.
yeah, no, I got you.
Check out my little dragon guy.
Is that
I
part of
bought
the?
like
Is
the
that part of the?
X-Wing
Is
thing.
that part of that attack wing thing or whatever?
Yeah.
Okay.
I
Yeah,
mean, I
that
got
was
it for like $20. They were on sale for like 60% off.
yeah.
How can you the starter set wherever it's at? Anyway, so you might get lucky. You might be able to find an issue if you go to one of the smaller stores. They might
Yeah.
still have one if they. I don't know. It just depends on the store, obviously.
Right.
But this is huge news. Hopefully, it's worth it.
Yeah.
So good luck, Boom Studios. Power Rangers is really picking up lately. We've got some more news about them too.
Yeah.
So,
You still
I'll
want to
take.
cover? You want still
Well,
want to cover that last one there?
yeah, I'll take this. I was going to add more to this, but then, I've started a new work schedule, so I apologize to everybody. So there was some Marvel news this week. They were talking about Civil War 2, which is, this isn't in the notes, but I'll add it really quickly, is that instead of it being, like independence versus government type of thing like it was originally, it's now going to be like it's interstellar war because they're throwing in Thanos and all this stuff. So I don't see where the Civil War part of it's coming in. Unless some of the heroes are going to go to one side. It's not. Do they know what Civil War means? So
I guess not, because that sounds more like a galactic war, right?
yeah, it's so I don't know. This is a whole thing. Marvel trying to emulate the movies as opposed to the other way around. Also, we got a little bit more information about the Dead No More, which we're thinking it's a Spider-Man thing because it has webbing and the red all around some of the teaser pictures. Dan Slott's going to be writing it. He's been writing Amazing Spider-Man for the last few years, and he wrote the infamous Superior Spider-Man, which I absolutely despise.
Right.
I could go for hours on talking about why I think it's terrible. So that means I'm even less interested in picking it up because with me putting in, hey, it's a Spider-Man comic now. Hey, Dan Slott's writing it. He's probably going to try to bring back his Marty Stu character, Spock, the Superior Spider-Man, which was Doc Ock, who had stolen Peter Parker's body and used it, Dan Slott's words, like a meat puppet. And he also he practically raped somebody in it. Okay, and we're supposed to cheer for this character.
This is not the first time we've talked about Dan Slott, right?
I hate
You are
Dan
not a
Slott.
fan.
I can't.
I did. This photo is one that I pulled before, so.
I don't like him. I just I don't know him personally, but hearing the antics that he does personally, seeing his Twitter feed, seeing how he reacts to fans when they actually have legitimate criticism. Because I understand fans, we're psychotic and dumb a lot, but when a fan actually has legitimate questions and want them like a one-on-one. They want to talk to you like a man, even though it's
Right.
about comics. Then you got to treat them like that, especially if they're being polite. Now, if they come up to say, "Hey, fat ass, why are you doing something stupid?" Then I understand. But if they're like, "Sir, can I ask you a couple of questions? Why you decide to go this route?" And then you try to get people to attack them. No, he's unprofessional. He needs, and even the people that are fans of him are getting tired of him on Spider-Man books, saying that he's been there for too long. So that's my Marvel news. I know we've gotten a lot of DC the last few weeks, but that's what happens when you give me. That's all you give me is Dan Slott crap.
Right. Right. All right. Well, then why don't we move into the movies and TV? We got a couple of things to cover in there, and then we can get on with the all important gaming.
Of course, the gaming.
All right.
Oh, I just knew you were going to pull the kazoo one on that one. I just knew you were
Oh,
going to do it. I was ready for it.
you were ready. It didn't happen. Yeah, that one.
Uh,
That one. I need to level. I need to level the other one because the kazoo one is really loud compared to that one. So,
yeah.
but all right. First thing we got: Elizabeth Banks is the new Rita Repulsa.
Ah! After 10,000 years, I'm free! It's time to conquer Earth!
Oh, I love that. Oh, that lady was so amazing.
Yeah, yeah, she was really good. That's fond memories growing up watching the
Now,
Power Rangers.
now, real quick, this is interesting, and I read this somewhere recently. But when they made the Power Rangers movie in the '90s, they actually brought in the lady that was the physical Rita Repulsa
Right.
from Japan, which when it was another show for in Japan, but they still did the voice actress doing the voice.
Oh, really?
So basically, they had her speak English, and then they dubbed over her.
Oh.
But I thought that was really like, that movie gets a lot of crap, but I thought that was a really clever and like instead of just recasting her to an American character,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
thought
I
that was
got
really
you.
neat.
Yeah, that's good. And well, we got a full American actress to play her this time around too,
Yeah,
huh?
but this is a reboot, so I can let this slide. And she's supposed to be an alien witch, so I can let that slide too.
Well, she
And
just
she's
got done.
really.
She just got done playing an alien witch in the Hunger Games, right?
That's true, and yeah, and she's extremely talented and extremely pretty. Elizabeth Banks is the new Rita Repulsa.
Yeah, and what the earliest I can remember seeing her was like 40-year-old virgin, I think.
Was she in that?
Yeah, she was the one that he was hitting on at the bookstore. Putting
It's
out
been a while since I've seen that movie,
using the
but
lines, but always asking questions instead of answering her question. He just asked her answer with another question. It was funny. It was funny.
I mean, I believe you. I like the movie. It's like a movie I've only seen once. I can't believe that.
What? Come on!
I don't.
It's on like Comedy Central every other day.
Yeah, I don't have Comedy Central. I only use the internet. YouTube,
Oh,
Hulu,
okay.
and Netflix is really what I use. Crunchyroll.
All right, yeah. She was in that. That was the earliest I can remember her, but she's more recently been playing. I can't remember what the character's name is in
Yeah, everybody knows the weird one with
the
the
do
hair and may the odds ever be in your favor.
the makeup and everything in the Hunger Games. Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, and very good character actor for sure.
Yeah,
I think she'll fit this role really well.
I think she's going to do extremely well for this role. I've loved her. I've loved her as that character. I feel bad that I can't remember the name, but for those that don't know, Rita Repulsa is the original enemy of the Power Rangers. She was sealed in basically a space garbage can on the moon, and then it broke out. She broke out. Then she decided to conquer Earth. That's when Zed got the teenagers with attitude to fight her, and she would create monsters, make them grow, and then they'd explode, and she'd get mad. And she had Goldar was the cat guy with
With the wings?
gold armor and the wings.
Like a flying monkey.
Yeah, he was a flunky, but and she would never hardly use him, and he was like one of the most powerful opponents.
Right.
And she had another one, and I can't remember the other one. In the movie, it was a pig guy, but it wasn't a pig guy in the show, and I can't remember that one. Anyways, I'm pumped for this movie. I don't know.
When was this supposed to happen?
I don't know. If they're just casting the main villain.
Yeah,
Oh, do you think they'll have Zed in there?
they have to, right?
Well, Zed didn't come out until like season 2, I think.
Yeah.
Or it might have been at the end of season 1. I'm not sure because pretty much every season they got the new Zords and stuff.
Yeah.
But at least it could be a sequel hook.
Yeah, there you go.
And hopefully they stay loyal to like the original, where he was really kind of scary and intimidating.
Right.
But then they were worried that the kids are going to be afraid of him. But he's the bad guy. You're supposed to be afraid of him.
Supposed to be afraid of the bad guy.
So they turned him into like a sitcom arch enemy, Mary and Rita and shit. Oh, excuse my language.
Yeah. Her character in the Hunger Games is Effie Trinket.
There you go.
So, but yeah. Well, I guess it'll be cool to see what they do with this new movie. Too bad it can't be like that. What do you call that kind of video that one director did?
I'm a fan.
Like a black
fan vid, I guess.
a black label video or whatever. Since he was getting in trouble for copyright stuff and all that, I thought that was that's that really cool one that got pulled from the internet after a while. That had Katie Sackhoff and who was the other big person in that?
The guy from Dawson's Creek. Didn't they have the Dawson in it?
Oh, I don't remember. Oh,
James
freaking Vanderbeek. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, him. Yeah, that was really awesome. It felt really dark, which would be more adult-like, but hey, whatever.
If they could pull off a good like dark all ages kind of thing, I mean, it could work.
Yeah.
Power Rangers in the end is just fun. So I know I'm going to go see it no matter what. It's just fun. Reminds me of my childhood and nostalgia stuff like that. And I even know it's cheesy and goofy, but it's just something fun.
Right.
I enjoy watching.
This next one I'm kind of excited about because I know the actor. Michael Pitt is joining the Ghost in the Shell cast in a villainous role. And Michael Pitt he played Jimmy in the Boardwalk Empire. Very, very good down the line character. Had a softer side to him, but like hardened criminal. He was a war veteran in that movie. So
now is Boardwalk Empire? I know Mad Men takes place in like the 50s or so. Does Boardwalk Empire take place around that same time?
Right after it's during Prohibition. So
the Prohibition, so the 40s ish.
Yeah, something like that.
30s to 40s. It was. You mean Prohibition? Did you say
Prohibition?
Or Prohibition.
Prohibition.
Okay.
Where'd it go? I just had it.
Well, anyway, so Ghost in the Shell, if you don't know, is a Japanese cyberpunk anime about a robotic police detective. Technically, she's a cyborg, whatever. And it's going to be played by Scarlett. The main character is going to be played by Scarlett Johansson, I believe, which everybody's up in arms about.
Well, she only uses 10% of her brain, so.
Yeah, she only uses 10% of whatever that stupid movie. She only uses 10% of her boobs, but no. But this casting now, I think this is a good idea, because I would rather the hero be as loyal to the anime and stuff, but I think especially if this is going to be a new villain or whatever,
right,
as opposed to something reused from the animes, then it's better to cast outside of, don't have it just. I don't know how I'm trying to word it, but I think that would be a good idea.
Right. Yeah,
God,
like I said, he was really, really a brutal person in that show. So, depending on how brutal they make his character in Ghost in the Shell as a villain, he should be able to fill the role just fine.
And it's going to be interesting. I wonder how they're exactly going to do him, because she's playing. I can't remember that main character's name. I'm going to have to Google this real quick.
Yeah.
The show main hero.
Yeah, but I mean, from what I remember from the first movie, that was really a brutal show too. Anime.
Yeah, the original movie, the character was she's like, I don't know, she's just an amazing character. She's really well rounded. She's like stoic in a way. And I mean, the first one really caught my eye because I was a teenager when I saw it, and she was naked half the time because she used an invisible suit or belt or whatever. She had to be nude while doing it.
Yeah.
But fan service aside, she was extremely lethally competent, incredibly like she really didn't have a challenge until like the final battle.
Right. Right.
Nobody could really keep up with her, and I think she was yeah. She's noted on Wikipedia as being strong-willed, physically powerful, and highly intellectual. She's well known in her skills in deduction hacking. Her name is Major Matoko Kusanagi. She is an augmented cybernetic human employed by the squad leader of Public Security Section 9, a fictional law enforcement division of the real Japanese National Public Safety Commission. But yeah, it was really interesting I think it was the movie where she was like ripping at this tank apart and like her muscles were like just started popping out.
Yep.
And they were like even tearing, but she ripped the thing apart. It was so cool.
Yeah, that was a good one. It was like in a little warehouse like building or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah,
I haven't seen those in a while. I own the first and second one. But really
gorgeous
great
animation.
Oh yeah, and that was like what, early '90s, I think.
Something like that. Like, I think it might have been. I don't know if it was early '90s, late '80s, or whatever. But it holds up to today. You know.
Oh, for sure. It was. I mean, even Matrix style before the Matrix, as far as what was going on in those.
Definitely. So it'll be interesting to see if they're going to make him a character that can keep up with the Major, because again, there's not many opponents that she's faced that can handle her. So
right. Yeah. Hopefully, they don't make him a wimp.
Yeah. Well, of course, you always had the bronze versus brains, but she's smart too. Especially if they do like almost like a Holmes versus Moriarty type of thing.
Yeah, there you go. All right, the next thing we've got is a Ghostbusters video game tie-in under development at Activision.
They just announced the Lego set based off the movie as well.
Right.
So here's the thing that's cracking me up is that we've got a game announced. We got toy lines already coming out. We've got all this other stuff, pictures and all this stuff. We've yet to see a trailer. And now this is 4 months. 4 months, roughly, before the movie comes out. We saw the first Superman Batman trailer
9 months before?
9 months ago? Like September? Like before September, maybe?
Yeah,
October?
It was right. It was August, September, somewhere in there. Yeah, it was about, 9 months before release, so yeah. That would be
I heard a rumor. I read a rumor on Facebook, so take that for what you will, that they showed the trailer to a test audience, and the test audience hated it. Apparently, if I remember this correctly, they had like a musical number in the middle where some black character was like, "How you sweaty white people doing?" or something like that. So I don't know. Like, I didn't bother researching it because again, I'm getting on a new sleep schedule. But so apparently they had to do reshoots and stuff based off the trailer. Or recut the trailer.
Oops.
Which was funny because the director, Paul Feig or whatever, had promised us a trailer by the end of last year.
And we haven't gotten that yet. They're spending all their 3D money to go reshoot the movie. Yeah.
Oh.
Because it works so well for, what's it called? Fantastic Four.
Shoot. What was I going to say? Jeez, I'm just so off the ball right now. I apologize to everybody. I should have made me some coffee before doing this. But okay. Oh yeah. Well, I was going to do something I was going to play devil's advocate. In their defense, Judge Dredd didn't show a trailer till almost 4 months out, and I forget. But another major movie came out at that time, so it kind of got pushed under the rug. But then when people finally went and saw it, they're like, "Hey, it's actually kind of good."
Yeah.
Did you see it?
You mean the original Dread or the new one?
The new Dread.
Yeah, I've seen it. I liked it. I almost liked it better than the original. But I really like Carl Urban, so.
I haven't seen it. I wonder how it is based off the comic. So.
Oh yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's one of those things. He's taking up a apprentice even though he doesn't want to, and
Like a rookie. So it's like a buddy cop movie almost in a way.
no, not at all, not at all. He's
I mean, without
begrudging.
the humor.
Yeah, without the humor. Yeah, it's because it's it's Dredd. You know how he is, cold.
Well,
And,
yeah, Dredd punches. He can punch so hard he can go through somebody's skull and out the other side.
and the bad guy is played by Lena Headey from Game of Thrones, Cersei Lannister, and she played a really good bad guy.
Well, yeah, she's in.
Yeah, she's really good at it. I know, but
I feel bad for her though because I've heard stuff that like when she goes to cons and stuff, people mistreat her.
that's
Like,
terrible.
people will flip her off and stuff.
I don't think you should go that far. That's kind of ridiculous. I mean,
Yeah,
she's playing a character. It's like the first time I ever saw. What's the guy's name that plays Joffrey? I'm trying to remember what his name is.
I know who you're talking
But
about.
I saw him speaking at a like a little class at a university in England, and real nice guy compared to what the trash that he's playing in that show.
Did you did you see the when not George R. R. Martin when that episode came out, and we all know the episode we're talking about. Everybody, he basically went up to him and was like, "Congratulations, you're the most hated man in the world now," or something along those lines.
Jeez.
Yeah, so he's apparently supposed to be a really nice guy, and I don't know.
Wish I could
But
remember his name.
going back to the Ghostbusters thing, the last Ghostbusters game was pretty good. Did you play it?
Yeah, I played part of it. That was the hotel at the beginning chasing
Yeah.
down the what was it, a sea captain? Was
Yeah.
really neat. They did really good visuals, and the actual ghost busting felt really good. I need to play that again.
That's what cracked me up about the game. Is people kept complaining about the controls, and I kept wanting to say, "Did you see the movie? Do you see how difficult they had controlling the
Yeah.
the trio ones? Of course, it's supposed to be hard to control. That's the point."
Nuclear accelerator and all.
But it was a very fun game. It was like, and it wrapped up all the like any remaining questions that you would have had from the first two movies.
It was basically Ghostbusters 3.
Basically, it should have been. They could have animated it and slapped it into a theater, and it would have been absolutely perfect.
Right.
So I don't know. I don't know if Activision made the last one or not. So
Yeah,
I'm
Activision
not.
made the
I'm
last one.
probably not going to buy this game. I love Ghostbusters to death, but
You'll find it
I
on
don't-
sale eventually. I said you'll find it on sale eventually and be
Oh.
tempted.
I'll find it on sale and still say that's too much to pay for it.
All right, then let's go ahead and move into the gaming where we'll cover real gaming.
Yeah.
All right, let me change the pictures here. Bethesda is going to hold its second ever E3 conference, and what a splash it made the first time, especially with the likes of Doom and Fallout. A great little picture they have for their announcements, and it's got a nice list of recognizable characters. So, you've got your Eye Demon from Doom, and your Fallout power armor, the Dovahkiin, and what was the name of that one with the assassin? Why can't I remember what that one is?
Assassin.
Is it Dishonored, right? The Dishonored series?
Dishonored.
Yeah.
Yes. Dishonored.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so there's that too. And I know they just released that, or is that coming out soon? Dishonored 2?
Dishonored 1 came out
So they haven't released Dishonored
years
2
ago,
yet.
yeah. So the new one is on its way. I think they just announced it at the last E3. They didn't just announce it.
No. They had video at the last E3. So
They had video of it, yes.
and they announced that there'd be a female character.
It
says initial
the
release.
female character is the daughter from the first one grown up.
Right.
In Dishonored, real quick, you played the bodyguard of the king and queen and princess. And under your watch, the queen ends up getting assassinated, and you get blamed for it. And so you have to go you get this demon or whatever. You make a deal with him. I didn't play all of it because I'm bad at stealth games. So I tried to stealth my way through it a couple of missions. I kept dying, and and the problem is they have a morality system. So the less people you kill,
You better your score. Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah, and I know you end up shooting up everybody anyways.
yeah, I do.
I can only imagine what your gameplay videos would look like for like Metal Gear Solid.
I should make some. Well, now I'm good at it. Well, not good at it, but I'm okay at it. So
Great.
I'm better than I was when I started out.
I'm a stickler for stealth, so
Well,
I used to.
I did order Metal Gear Solid 4, so
Oh, I
maybe
got
I'll.
you.
I don't
There you
know.
go.
Anyway, so go ahead.
Yeah, so maybe we'll hear something from Elder Scrolls. Maybe, hopefully, I would assume at the very least something like of an expansion for Elder Scrolls Online. More Doom info, even though they dropped the release date. I think was May for Doom.
Well, we can still get more info on Doom.
Well, I
They
mean,
might announce DLC for Fallout 4. They might announce finally the mod system.
May 13th. Never mind, it'll be out before the con.
Well, I mean, they can still do.
Yeah. Hey, here's the first DLC pack
Yeah.
and something like that. Maybe. Do they own? Oh, that's what it was. Maybe we'll see some new Wolfenstein. There we go. They
because I mean,
they did a really good job reviving that series. I feel like what was the first one? New Order
yeah.
was a very good representation of what you would expect from a world controlled by Nazi Germany in the '60s. That was a really really good job. Like even like I said when we talked about it originally, the conversions they made to what would be the standard pistol that would be used by police was a really really upgraded looking version of the Luger, which looked really really cool. Let's see, Doom.
Maybe they'll announce a new IP because the speculation we've got right now is kind of light, especially compared to the last one where they announced all this new stuff.
I feel like they're gonna figure something out to make a big splash again. I just don't know what it is. The biggest splash they could make would be Elder Scrolls, though.
Either announcing the new Elder Scrolls because I don't think Elder Scrolls Online is doing too good.
No, that's why I said it. If anything, for Elder Scrolls, it would be an expansion. But for them to announce a new Elder Scrolls main title, that would put it at like Elder Scrolls 6, and they'd pick a spot. I would love to see them actually do a full world. That would be pretty incredible.
Oh, well, maybe you could go from Skyrim to Morrowind, or
yeah,
whatever.
There are very few places that they haven't covered in main titles yet. I think Black Marshes is one of them. That's where the lizard people are from.
Yep. Which I always start off as a lizard person because they have the natural ability to breathe underwater, and
they're pretty good at stealth too.
Yeah, they're pretty good at stealth, which obviously I never use because I go in and blow everything up. But I just remember playing Morrowind. I never completed Morrowind because it was like my first RPG of that type.
Yeah, yeah.
I loved it. Don't get me wrong. I loved the game. I don't know why I didn't finish it. I think it just overwhelmed me at the time because I was used to mainly platformers. But I did the mage quest where he wanted you to go get this ring.
Yeah.
And he was trying to drown you, but why he didn't see that I was Aragornian and it wouldn't have bothered me,
right.
I don't understand.
Right.
So it was kind of funny, but
it'll be neat to see, and I'm sure there'll be some teases coming up in the next few months. And obviously, I think we'll try and do a big show again for that. We had a blast doing it the last time, so.
Yeah. Oh man, that was fun.
All right, let's go ahead and move on to the next thing. I'm sure you'll be excited about this. You can go ahead and take this one.
Yeah, I'm kind of excited and kind of worried about it, but a hidden Windows store reveals HoloLens app and a new Conquer game is in development. So I guess somebody broke in some source code or something and read this. Oh, well, if I'd read the article that I posted, a recent discovery on Windows Store by a group of NeoGAF users has revealed that we may be hearing more information about the HoloLens in the near future. According to these NeoGAF users, a hidden Windows Store listing shows an app called Holo Studio, which could imply that the app will have something to do with the HoloLens. In addition to the Hollow Studio app, the hidden listing revealed a new game called Young Conquer, which could indicate that it is a prequel to Conker's Bad Fur Day. According to the listing, Young Conquer will be rated T for teen, which might be a disappointment to some fans of the original game because it was M for mature. I don't know. I guess it would kind of make sense because if he's playing a teen, we haven't gotten to that more cynical Conquer yet.
Right.
I guess he really wasn't that cynical, but I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that, and especially after the Project Spark thing. That was frustrating to see. Even though I still enjoyed playing the Conquer stuff with Project Spark, I don't know. I'll wait and see it, and the Rare Studios now is all but in name.
Right. Yeah, well, when those HoloLens come out, I really want to get a set of those.
I know.
I've put that on my wish list, so.
I don't want to be hyped for it, but I'm hyped for it. Also, real quick, former WWE wrestler Ken Anderson, I don't know him, uploaded a photo to his Instagram in early January saying that he was working on a super secret squirrel video game. So I don't know if that super secret was supposed to be hyphenated or if he's actually working on a super secret squirrel video game. If you don't know Secret Squirrel, go watch Hanna-Barbera stuff.
Yeah, there you go.
Actually, go watch Two Stupid Dogs because they had Secret Squirrel shorts on there that were absolutely hilarious, at least when I was a kid.
Great. All right, the next thing, this isn't going to be a surprise. Star Wars The Force Awakens Lego game announced. Who didn't see that coming?
I didn't.
Yeah, no, but what? Get out of here. Get out of here. A hot title like that, not getting a Lego game after all the other ones have. Yeah, that's ridiculous. Hey, in other news, I finally actually saw the movie the other day. It's still in theaters. Go see it again.
It's also at like over $2 billion now.
Yeah, and domestic is just over 900 million. So you guys need to go see it a little bit more so it can hit the billion mark in the U.S. That's amazing. Almost $1 billion from the U.S. and $1 billion combined from everywhere else. My
question is, I know what happens. I know the thing.
Which the thing? There are a bunch of them. You need to go see it.
The thing. You know the one I'm talking about. I wonder how they're going to make that funny. Because, the Star Wars games usually take dark scenes and kind of make them humorous in their own ways.
Let me tell you. There's it's not overbearing, but there's humor in the new movie. So there'll be plenty of spots where
there's humor in the old stuff too. Yeah. I hope it's not the childish humor like in the prequels. I hope it's more of the snarky stuff like the battle of wits between Leia and Han and Chewie and R2D2 and C3PO.
I think when you go see the movie, you will not be disappointed. I also think that when you're done going to see it, you, me, and a couple other people need to get together and maybe just lay down a show just talking about the premise and the plot. It's that I don't want to say groundbreaking, but it's that much that needs to be talked about. So.
Well, yeah, I mean, in general, we could do like an overall Star Wars thing, how it affects the lore and stuff like that.
Episodes could be done of this. So, but anyways, so Lego game coming from Telltale. It's a no-brainer. Hopefully they have space combat. They do really well on the Star Wars games. I don't think I've ever been disappointed on any of the Lego games anyways.
And, here's the crazy thing. Although they may be formulaic at this point, they're always consistently fun and they always consistently improve. The Lego games, they improved to the Batman games that took everything good about the other ones and made it better, and then the Marvel one came out and just blew everything else in the back out of the water. Yep.
I'm curious as to how the Avengers one is, the new one that just came out.
Yeah, I haven't seen that much stuff on it. Really.
I think it just came out. So
yeah, I didn't know if it was a. I'm gonna have to look into it because I wasn't sure what it was about. Really, to be honest with you, I didn't know if it was going to be a sequel to the previous or what.
And obviously, hopefully, this game comes out after the movie's released on DVD because spoilers.
Yeah,
So,
I'm sure it will.
so, all right. Next thing.
Yes, my Nintendo. If you remember, we talked about Club Nintendo was being replaced with and I guess they came out and announced it as My Nintendo.
Yep.
It was it's originally to be okay. Sorry. It's going to be released in Australia and New Zealand in March, and going to be launching in 39 countries across the globe.
No. It was originally going to be released. They announced in December it was originally going to be only released in Australia and New Zealand. It's already in Japan, but then they were going to spread to Australia and New Zealand. But apparently they're putting the pedal to the metal. They're going full launch to 39 countries across the globe.
Oh,
So-
okay. Well,
That's huge. Yeah, well, it's kind of interesting because they plan to slowly scale it out, and now by some sheer force they decided to throw it all the way out to everybody.
I don't know if they were just like, we're not getting this out fast enough, or they're like, wow, this is. I don't know if it's exploded in Australia and New Zealand. Obviously, in Japan, it's probably pretty big.
Right.
So, really, really interesting to see this. According to what's happening in Japan, with it already being up and running, users are given birthday discounts to get 10% back on eShop purchases for the first 2 months of service, which that's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
And steep discounts on select games for Monster Hunter X owners. That would be for you.
I can't wait for the new one to come out. It's not out yet here.
But unfortunately, there's no indication was made as to whether or not these kinds of discounts will be available for Western users come March. But come on, please. Why?
Right.
I mean, that's would be the point of My Nintendo.
Birthday discounts are always nice.
Yes.
It would make me more likely to buy digital games than cartridge.
Which I do buy for my 3DSs. I do buy a lot of digital games.
Well, yeah, it's more
because-
convenient instead of carrying around all kinds of cartridges.
Exactly, and I misplace them and stuff. And
You're like my kids; they can't keep track of their crap.
oh, trust me, I keep track of it. I got other people that can't keep track of stuff
Uh-oh.
here,
Uh-oh.
but yeah, and you know, especially with the older games, which Nintendo has a bigger backlog of older titles than Microsoft or Sony.
Right.
So I can pull. You know, you can have the entire Mario in NES and SNES. Of course, they don't have SNES on there, but you could have those collections on your 3DS and still have tons of room for everything else because they're so small. You know, I've got all 6 of the Mega Man games. I've got Mario 1 through 3. I've got like 3 Legend of Zelda titles on there, 3 or 4.
Hey, did I tell you?
Huh?
Sorry to sidetrack you. Did I tell you about the Zelda Triforce Heroes?
You told me that your son wanted to get it. Did you get
He
it?
did get it. It has something that not a lot of games have, but I'm glad that Nintendo still does it. It has download play. You can play with 3 friends.
Yeah, you told me about this,
Or you-
but it's good to announce it here.
Yeah, you can play with 2 other friends with download play. They don't have to own the game, but they can still play the entirety of the game with you. Which that game is basically a co-op game, anyways, so it works. I really like that aspect. It's underutilized for the download play. It is very underutilized.
It
would be
is,
very
especially
convenient.
nowadays that it seems that it's rare that we get demos. So that's almost like a demo for your friends. Sure, they
Exactly.
can play through it, but then they might want to play it with some other friends, you know, but they
Right.
want to go buy the game, and it's just it spreads out. And I don't.
It's free advertisement.
It is. It is. You
It's
know?
kind of like what I expected the Sony SharePlay to be, or whatever it was called, for where you could loan games to other people on your friends list. And it didn't pan out, I guess. They stopped doing it for a while, or they really severely limited it, and now it's just, an afterthought.
Yeah. Sony has a bad habit of doing stuff like
Yeah.
that. They get really hyped about something, then they get bored.
Great.
So,
All right, let's talk about other boring stuff.
Yeah, let's
Well,
talk about terrible ideas.
more
Marvel
boring
has
stuff.
launched Avengers Academy. It is a mobile game, and I'm done. I'm done.
You done? All right, he's gone. So, what?
No, I'm not leaving. I gotta get paid. But
What this
this-
means is they're cheaping out and going the mobile games thing, which it looks like it's The Sims.
Yeah, it's basically something like that. It's cliched. They couldn't be more cliched if it's trust. It reimagines the main Avengers, which you know from the movies and the cartoons, as college kids and teenagers.
Well, it's trying to hit that sweet spot of those people
But
that most
but here's the
utilize those
thing.
games.
Here's the thing. They had comics named Avengers Academy, where it was the older generation, like Hank Pym and Iron Man and all these guys, teaching the younger generation, like Hawkeye, the Hawkeye Apprentice, the Young Avengers. They had a girl named Reptile. They had a person named Nightmare. They had basically. Why didn't they do that? Why didn't they use those characters? They even had an adult Ant Man that was being trained, and he was hilarious because he was a horrible person. He was called. He was in the comic, The Irredeemable Ant Man, Eric
Right.
O'Grady or something.
Had a drinking problem.
So here's the official stuff. Marvel's Avengers Academy takes a very different look at Earth's Mightiest Heroes, putting many Marvel's iconic heroes and villains in a what-if college setting. Oh my gosh. Do you remember years ago they were actually going to make a Batman cartoon where they were all in high school?
Oh my gosh.
Yes, with like the Joker and Killer Croc were in high school and Bane.
Gosh.
Yes. And it was going to be a terrible idea. And they realized, hey, this is really stupid. We don't need to do it. This is basically that. Mixing together elements of action, including combat training to go along with your regular classes and sports, a social life, there's dating as well. The game features notable voice cast. Now, this is what confuses me. They've got Priyanka Chopra as Miss Marvel, Alexandra Daddario from True Detective as Wasp, Colton Hayes from Arrow as Thor, Bella Thorne from Scream the TV series, which I haven't seen, as Tigra, Kernan Shiphack from Mad Men. You've watched Mad Men? As Spider Woman.
Yeah, I don't know who that is.
Dave Franco from Neighbors as Tony Stark, Alan Simbri from Community as Black Widow, rapper ASAP Rocky as Falcon, and WWE star. Oh gosh, we should have pulled the audio for this. John Cena. Can't see me, whatever it is. I don't know. As Hulk. Other characters in the game will include Loki, Hawkeye, Vision, Ant-Man, War Machine, Captain Marvel, Winter Soldier, Black Panther, Enchantress, and Taskmaster. And like I said, they already had a comic series, and it was a pretty good comic series called Avengers Academy, and they could have done so much more with that as opposed to another reimagining that's not an imagination at all. And here's another thing. With this kind of all-star cast, I wonder how many paywalls there are. Because these people are getting paid. I don't care how big of a fan you are of the comics.
Might get it.
When you're Allison Brie or John Cena, you want to get paid.
They might get it from the advertisement, though. I mean, that might not be a problem for the...
Well, it's already launched, and I'm not downloading it to even check it out. I wonder if they have Let's Plays of mobile games on YouTube.
Great.
So yeah, I can see that you're interested in this. Don't you want to get this for your kid?
No,
and they can rake up $1,000 bill.
No, because I pay attention to what my kids are doing, and I don't just put them on autopilot with games. All right. And these guys in this next article seem like they were on autopilot, but not to make a game, to spend all the money for other things.
Yes, we have another Kickstarter tragedy story here. The Ant Simulator was canceled. Now this is weird. I didn't know about Ant Simulator. I didn't fund it. Fortunately, I missed this one. But so Ant Simulator, an indie game funded by Kickstarter, has been canceled after 2 team members reportedly spent the entire budget on strippers and alcohol. Lead programmer Eric Tereshinsky, the only team member not involved with these actions, has since resigned from the company and says he's been threatened with a lawsuit if he attempts to release the game. Because he did not read contracts, because that's... Why didn't you read the contract, dude? Why didn't you get a lawyer or something? Whatever. Always get a lawyer. Always read over your stuff. Don't just... You can't be altruistic with people. Please, you know.
It looks like they raised a good chunk of change there on Kickstarter, too.
Yeah, they raised almost $5,000, roughly $4,459 on Kickstarter, which... Eric, lead programmer Eric, because I don't want to pronounce that name again, reports was later used by his partners Tyler Montz and Devin Stately or Stanley. I don't know
Staley.
which one.
Staley.
Stately. Well, I didn't know if it was a typo, to pay for alcohol, restaurants, and strippers. These expenses were made under the pretense of holding business meetings, because that's what they do, and other company-related activities so that they would be covered legally. Following Eric's resignation, Montz and Stately now have full control over the company. Smart move there, buddy. As a result, he is legally obligated to take any videos that were created as part of his work for the company down from his YouTube channel, including all Ant Simulator videos and a popular Kickstarter-funded series of game development tutorials. Here's a quote from Eric. They went over the contract line by line with me, and I reviewed the whole thing twice. I just didn't realize they had protected themselves, screwed me, like the fact that they listed themselves as consultants. So they weren't legally obligated to work on anything, but still have rights to spend money, etc. And I have no idea what their plan was until it was too late. So obviously you didn't understand it, even if you could sit there and read the thing. You might not understand it because it's legalese. It's basically its own language. That's why you sit down with a lawyer, you know?
Yeah.
Montz and Stately have spoken out about these allegations against him, claiming that they are completely false, although he does imply that they did spend company money on restaurants and bars. It's completely false. I don't know why he's painting that picture, but the reality is that anything that was spent in a bar or restaurant was very reasonable in nature when you look at any business, including video game companies. It was part of our operating budget. It's not anything that was excessive. It was all reported to the IRS. The picture he's painting about that is 100% bull crap. Expletive deleted, of course. Huntz also claimed that Eric was responsible for all company assets and had cost them a deal with PlayStation by not providing a gameplay demo in time
That they didn't work on.
that they didn't work on. So he was the lead and only programmer. They were consultants, so and so here's another quote from Mr. Montz. He took control of not only all the company's physical property, our bank accounts, our social media accounts, our website, which he changed to just our faces for some unknown reason, probably because he's out of the company. That was all him. This all started to take place right after the game started to get really popular late in the summer. My personal theory is that he wanted to take it all for himself and cut us out of it. We made it clear that we weren't going to let him do that because we had a moral and legal right not to. But here's the thing, Mr. Montz. If you had a budget of $5,000, you don't have much to play with when making this game. Why are you spending it on beer, alcohol and bars, Make sure that at least the demo's done first, and maybe you get some more extra funding.
All play and no work.
Yeah. I don't know. It just, from what limited information we have here, it looks like there are failures on both sides. Eric's failure is he didn't read the contract. He didn't put his foot down. If he had control of all the bank accounts, he didn't tell them no enough. Take away their credit cards, say, hey, we can't afford this.
Yeah.
And have everything in writing. Montz just seems kind of like a jerk. When you're releasing public statements and you're using expletives,
yeah.
Especially with your company going down in flames, that's not a good thing, dude. So, I don't know. I will keep an ear out for this one because it seems interesting.
They could have had the next best thing to SimAnt.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Because I've watched Pro Jared review SimAnt, and it seemed like it was like kind of a fun game. It had something interesting going on with it. So, and there's been other like insect and like there was a spider game on the Wii one time, right? Where you play like some kind of desert spider, and that seemed really interesting.
Ugh, not camel spiders, right? Ugh.
No, I don't think it was camel spider. It was like an American desert.
Oh, okay, okay. I'm not sure.
If you're playing a camel spider, then it might as well be, attacking a 50-foot spider.
Those things are so fast and creepy. Yeah. Size of dinner plates, people, and they jump. All right, last thing we got. Niantic will showcase Pokemon Go at the Game Developers Conference next month.
I didn't realize that was already coming up.
Yeah, I know, dude. Well, it's front loaded for the beginning of the year. There's plenty of stuff between now and June. So,
Yep.
back in September, the Pokemon Company surprised us all by announcing Pokemon Go, an upcoming mobile game that lets players capture and battle Pokemon in the real world through augmented reality. The Pokemon Company is teaming up with the talented development team Niantic, best known for their augmented reality game Ingress, which I heard was pretty good. If I think I know what that is, and intended to bring Pokemon Go to life, and the hype for the game is immensely strong, even though we know very little about it, other than that we're gonna get to live out our dreams and be Pokemon trainers.
I'm still going to become part of Team Rocket.
Yeah, there you go, blasting off at the speed of light. Thankfully, we should be hearing a lot more about Pokemon Go next month. Game Developers Conference 2016 is just over a month away and kicking off on March 14th. And Pokemon Go has been added to the lineup for the events. Niantic CEO and founder John Hank will be holding a presentation for the hotly anticipated game, showing attendees a first-hand, in-depth look at how players are going to interact and explore the world with one another through Pokemon Go. The collaborative approach to design and development for the game and the next evolution of augmented reality and real-world mobile game experiences. Now, I have to look at this Ingress game because I think I signed up to try and do this, and I think what it was basically it was like a shooter, and that might not be it. Now, is this it?
Did you ever download Dream Radar or purchase it for your 3DS?
I think I had it on my on the that was on the DS.
No, 3DS.
It was on the 3DS. I don't remember.
It was like a very simple augmented reality game,
Oh, okay.
but I was surprised about how much fun I had with it.
Yeah, I can't find it. This doesn't look like the same game. This is something else, but it looks like it's based off of landmarks and all that. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there.
You're good.
There was another phone game that was being tested, and basically it was like a. Did you ever see the movie Gotcha? Or are you familiar with how campuses play like paintball, like a low grade paintball?
I know campuses playing paintball and the zombie stuff.
It's basically like that, but on your phone.
Oh.
So when you're walking around with your phone up like this, using the front facing camera, and you tap on the screen to shoot at other players, it's really neat. I mean, and that's how the augmented reality works, because you're holding it up and you're looking at the surroundings around you, and you see the other player as an actual enemy because their phone's tagged. So with GPS and all that good stuff, you can identify the other player.
I will say this: we really need to get that. Remember, they were talking about that kinetic energy clothing charger for your phone.
Yeah,
and like the battery packs and stuff. We've really got to get that technology out really fast for this Pokemon Go.
Right.
I mean, if it lives up to the hype, then we're all going to always have our phone like that. Always prepared for.
Nope. It's time to get Google Glass working, and the HoloLens should be neat. But whatever they get it to work with, I don't remember. Was HoloLens something that had to be plugged in? Or was it something that he was just wearing?
I don't know if it had to be plugged in, but it had to. It might be Bluetooth. I think it's Bluetooth technology with your Xbox or your computer. Okay. I don't think it can be with a phone or anything.
Google Glass would be the next best thing, and unfortunately, they've gone back to only business applications for now while they develop it better. But that's your next step. They did
kind of rush that release a little bit.
That's the next step, is the Google Glass type devices. So,
it doesn't help that I remember reading a story years ago where this guy was wearing Google glasses, and he went to see a movie, and they pulled him out and called in the cops and stuff. Oh, because saying that he was recording the video. And he's like, "No, I had them off. Yeah, like my prescription glasses or whatever."
Yeah, because they were built-in prescription lenses, which is really neat too. But, eventually they'll develop technology that'll be able to block that kind of signal, and they'll figure it out. Yeah, there's always a counter to it.
Maybe that's what we need to get into. We need to start developing anti Google Glass technology for movie theaters.
Right, right. Well, we're running long, so I guess we're gonna get out of here. That's all we've got for this week, I think. Right?
I'm
Any
pretty
save
burned,
rounds?
pretty much burned out of stuff. I don't know anything else. I could talk about my Dungeons and Dragons stuff. You guys want to talk about that?
We'll get working on the notes for next week. I know there should be some good stuff coming out next week. Hopefully, a couple more announcements for games and movies and stuff. Other than that, yeah, like I said, that's all we've got. Thank you for listening, and please leave us feedback on our episodes on iTunes, Stitcher, and anywhere else you can get our podcast from, including TuneIn, which I keep forgetting to mention every now and then. I should probably add
I'm
that
going
into
to
the
put tune
intro.
in your notes.
Yeah, no, but I gotta edit the main document that I copy from.
Oh, okay.
And
Well, it's in these notes now. So
all right.
I did work for once.
And please like, share, comment, and subscribe on our YouTube channel where we're currently talking to you.
You can contact us at ECG_podcast on Twitter, at our Facebook page, www.facebook.com/ECGpodcast, or our email address at ecgpodcast@gmail.com. Also visit us at our webpage, www.stasisgeek.com, where eventually we will put up more stuff. I was writing D&D campaign stuff all week, so I couldn't work on my actual article. But hey, here
What am I paying you for?
This is from the Mega Man board games, so you get to see a little bit of it. See it.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, that's what I was going to write on.
Have you played it yet?
I tried to play it.
Okay.
Some of the notes are kind of confusing.
Uh oh.
So
First drafts, as always.
It takes a while to set up too. But that I got a bunch of games that like you're just going to have to come over, spend a night. Or I'm going to have to go over and spend a night, and we're going to just have to run through all these games because I'm buying games that like take hours to set up. They can take up to like 30 or 40 minutes just to set up.
Right, right.
Like this Dead of Winter game. Oh, I don't understand it at all.
I need to borrow that one. You hear that? You hear that, guys from work? He's got that game. We need to try it.
Oh, did you guys want to borrow it?
Yeah, eventually.
At the very least, I could swing by Dietrich
Yeah,
if
there
I
you
ever
go.
head down to Frederick
There you
again.
go.
I shouldn't name so.
All right. Well, let's
But,
let everybody else go, and we'll talk more afterwards. All right. Until next week, stay geeky.
Bye bye.